So it looks like Tesla's Robotaxi launch is a disaster waiting to happen, as this headline says, while Waymo's service is going from strength to strength, expanding in different cities. We're going to look at that today. This headline from Electric: Tesla's Robotaxi fleet will be powered by plenty of teleoperation. And that's from Morgan Stanley, an analyst who spoke to Tesla, and it's an analyst who is very pro Tesla, and that's what they're saying about the launch. And Business Insider says we put Tesla's FSD and Waymo's Robotaxi to the test. One shocking mistake made the clear winner, and you might be able to guess which one made the mistake, but we'll have a look at that. And this headline from CNET: Waymo self driving cars are in a growing number of cities. Here's everything you need to know. So we'll look at where they're expanding to. And this headline: Google's Waymo is getting ready to put out a lot more robo taxis on the street. So they're getting ready to assemble tens of thousands of autonomous vehicles a year. Okay, let's go back to this article and investigate. So the robo taxi rollout looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Why do they say that? Ready or not, and despite a spotty safety record, the EV maker is racing to launch a pilot ride service in Austin to show off its self driving chops. So Elon's been saying for years, next year, next year. And it's getting to the point where they really have to do this. They have to put up or shut up because it's really taken a long time. Way back in 2016, 2017, Elon was saying it's just going to be a few months away where you could go from coast to coast without touching the wheel, but that has not been the case. It says Elon Musk is rolling out a handful of Tesla robotaxis in Austin next month so they can just handle a few. We're up to 20 self-driving electric Model Ys, so not the Cybercab that we saw at We Robot. They will be unleashed to ferry passengers around the Texas city streets. So there was an indication the other day too that it would be invitation only, which is a little bit suspicious. Are they only going to get those evangelicals, the Tesla influencers, to ride in them and say, oh, it's great, it's great? He's betting the future of Tesla on their success as the automaker's electric vehicle revenue tanks, thanks to faster growing Chinese rivals and a political backlash against Musk's right wing politics and role as job slasher in chief for the Trump administration. So he seems to have backed off a bit from that because he made him incredibly unpopular, and his far right politics obviously made him very unpopular in Europe, where Tesla sales are tanking. I've made many videos on that. It seems to be carrying on. Just massive declines in sales and deliveries in Europe. But there's a big hitch. Tesla hasn't proven its self driving taxis are safe enough to start delivering rides. Kind of a crucial fact, given its misleadingly named autopilot and full self driving FSD software's deadly track record. Musk's failure to provide detailed safety and technical data about Tesla's technology and his determination to rely on cheap cameras instead of more robust sensors to navigate complicated urban environments. The Austin rollout could be a debacle. And of course, Waymo does use the more robust sensors in its robotaxi, so it is going to be interesting to see whether Tesla can make it work. And there are a lot of indications, errors every day by people actually using this software in the wild, that they would not go unsupervised just yet. Would you get in the back seat of one of these things? A lot of people who have tried them would say no way. It's going to fail for sure. Dan O'Dowd, a longtime critic of Musk's autonomous driving claims, who spent his own money on Super Bowl commercials to call out the autopilot and FSD safety flaws, told Forbes his anti-Tesla initiative, the Dawn Project, which I've showed on in videos before, tests every update of FSD, a more advanced version of which is powering Musk robotaxis in Austin as soon as they're available. That update is to roll out to all Tesla drivers who pay $99 a monthly subscription fee. The question is it that more advanced than the version they're using now? Wouldn't they put out the best that they could? Dan O'Dowd has been putting the current version of FSD through its paces. We drove it around Santa Barbara for 80 minutes and there were 7 failures. How would you like to be in the back seat with, just those shorter journeys driving around the 7 failures? If there had not been a driver sitting in the driver's seat, it would have hit something, Dan says. And while the company hasn't booked a dollar of robotaxi revenue yet, that hasn't stopped the world's richest person from declaring victory. I don't see anyone being able to compete with Tesla at present, Musk said on the company's April 22nd results call. That's the earnings call. His assessment may be premature. So Elon's known for making these grand statements and either being very, very late in his predictions or they're not coming true. The FSD is a prime example of this. As I said, where he's been saying for next year, next year, next year, and people have been paying for this software for the whole time. I was looking for a signal that was ready. I didn't get that, said Noah Goodall. The sole public demonstration of Tesla's robotaxi chops was stage drives of its new Cybercab at Warner Brothers Studios in Los Angeles in October. I covered that event and went through, what was going on there. That was just so geofenced, so controlled. Can they do that in Austin as well on a bigger scale? Perhaps that's what they're going to do. The event included hauling invited Tesla fans around a fake cityscape free of pedestrians, but with lots of Tesla technicians keeping close tabs on the vehicles. Yes, it was literally a Hollywood studio lot, the perfect environment to showcase something in a Hollywood kind of way. We could say fake. It was like the things were on rails with everything really staged. It struck safety researcher Noah Goodall, who published a technical analysis of Tesla's safety data independently from his role with the Virginia Department of Transportation, as more amusement park attraction than real world test. Yes, I did get that impression as well. Seeing it, it was so staged with spectacular lighting and a typical show from Elon Musk. So, this article next. Tesla's Austin robotaxi fleet will be powered by plenty of teleoperation as it can't screw up, according to a new report from Morgan Stanley after meeting with Tesla. You won't hear anything negative about Tesla from Morgan Stanley very often. So this is is the most negative they get. As I said, a very pro Tesla analyst here, and he's saying that. So we're going to get into this, but if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm spread it to more people. It really does help. Thanks. All right. They say that Morgan Stanley's Tesla analyst, Adam Jonas is his name. You might have heard this before. Has often been described as a Tesla cheerleader, and he really is, on Wall Street for his extremely rosy view of the company. He generally believes whatever Elon Musk claims and adds a slight delay to the CEO's timeline. Well, FSD slight delay is basically 10 years in this case. Recently, Jonas met with Tesla and some clients and released a new note that he hinted to be based on what he'd learned from Tesla during the meeting. He claims that the planned Robotaxi rollout in Austin next month is going to use plenty of teleops to ensure safety levels. Austin is a go, but fleet size will be low, he says. Think 10 to 20 cars, which Elon has already said in that earnings call. Public roads, invite only, plenty of teleops to ensure safety levels. We can't screw up, is a quote there. Still waiting for a date. So really, if you break down that statement, 10 to 20 cars, they're going to be Model Ys, not the Cybercab. Public roads. Now, public roads can mean pretty empty roads. They could make that happen as well. Invite only is suspicious again, so it's not the public. It's people who, again, pro Tesla and probably coached to say good things about it. Why not just release it to public, get public rides if they're so confident? Teleops stands for teleoperations, meaning the Tesla employees will be able to remotely access Tesla's vehicles and operate them in some capacity. Last year, Electric reported Tesla started hiring for this teleoperation team before the Robotaxi launch in Austin. So, teleoperation meaning that they're remote drivers, which Waymo does have when the cars get into trouble and you can talk to an operator or customer service. But my understanding is they're just kind of overseeing. But this, on the first go, would probably seems like it would be driving by a teleoperator. I mean, drones have this. You can remote pilot drones, of course, even big ones, military drones. Could this be the same? But the lag times in question, there has to be very little lag, which is probably what they're working on to making sure there's very little lag, because if you're driving and you miss it for even a second, something can happen. And we know there are a lot of mistakes from FSD in the wild as well, still at this very late stage when Tesla is about to do this launch. Now, this is Gordon Johnson, who's known as a very negative analyst on Tesla, but he says the Robotaxi launch is clearly not ready. It will be a big disappointment. The fanboys will cheer it. The realists will see it for what it is, a stock pump scheme. Meanwhile, Tesla's real biz of selling cars is crumbling right before our eyes. On the stock pump scheme, Elon Musk actually does talk about the Tesla stock price. Very few CEOs do, especially, in public on X like that, on a social media platform. But Elon seems very concerned about the stock price, and his wealth is based on largely on this Tesla stock price and the SpaceX valuation as well. So Ross Gerber, a previous Tesla investor, says using FSD 3.2.9 on my Cybertruck yesterday, freeway traffic, changing lanes for no reason and then not changing into the right lane to turn until too late, on top of mapping issues, which is a new Tesla issue. Mapping is off. Google is better. And so he is pointing out the mistakes there that Tesla FSD is making in the wild. So really doesn't seem to be ready. Would you like to be sitting in the back seat when stuff like that's happening? I know that I wouldn't. So Business Insider says we put Tesla's FSD and Waymo Robotaxi to the test. One shocking mistake made the winner clear. Tesla is preparing to debut its autonomous ride-hailing service in Austin next month, and Alphabet's Waymo continues to expand throughout major US cities. We'll have a look at that. They really are expanding, despite Elon Musk's criticism of Waymo and saying that Tesla has basically won already. Given the positive experience we've had with Waymo and Tesla's FSD, we expected the results of our not so scientific test to come down to minute details, maybe by how many times the AI driver would hesitate, or if it would make a curious lane change for no apparent reason. And that's what you'd expect at this late stage with Tesla launching very soon in just a matter of weeks. That didn't happen. Instead, the Tesla made an egregious error that handed Waymo the clear win. Now, they say about the Waymo, it was not shy about making yellow lights, for example, but it never made maneuvers you wouldn't want a robot driver you're entrusting your life to make. Now we get to the Tesla's mistake. The Tesla's console screen showed how the car detected the red light and came to a dutiful stop. Then, despite the traffic light not changing, the Tesla drove ahead. We didn't come close to hitting any cars or humans on the street. Tesla's FSD is good at spotting such risks, and the main source of traffic coming across our path had been stopped by another traffic light. However, the vehicle slowly drove through this red light, which left us somewhat shocked at the time. Definitely. I mean, it's not what you want to see when you imagine sitting in the back seat and it going slowly through a red light. Waymo is still good at avoiding serious distraction and death after 56.7 million miles, The Verge says here. The Robotaxi published a new study that compared its vehicles to human driving benchmarks. So Tesla has been reluctant to release data. It's crowdsourced data that the critical intervention results are based on. They've had to do that because Tesla refuses to release data, which is pretty bad at this point. Why would they be hiding it? And this is CNET. Waymo's self-driving cars are in a growing number of cities. Here's what you need to know. Waymo currently operates fully autonomous rides for the general public in Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, which take place aboard the electric Jaguar I-Pace. It's expanding its partnership with Uber by launching in Atlanta as well via the rideshare app later this year, and plans to begin offering rides in Washington, D.C. and Miami in 2026. In April, Waymo said it'll begin driving its vehicles in Tokyo streets as well, making this the company's first international location. So it had been able to expand out to many cities. Now, this was thought, how's this going to scale? It's not going to scale, it's too expensive. But in the meantime, that the sensors that they use, the tech they use is coming down in price, and they've got so many miles under their belt now, under their hood, and it really is working. People seem to think it's safe. I'd drive in a Waymo, but I don't think I'd get in the back of a Tesla Robotaxi at this point. Along with those launches, Waymo in January announced it would also begin testing with manually driven vehicles in 10 new cities this year, starting with Las Vegas and San Diego. Now they're getting ready to assemble tens of thousands of autonomous vehicles per year. So they really are at the point where they're expanding, fitting out these cars ready for autonomous driving and expanding from city to city. And Tesla has made 0 autonomous trips officially with no driver, not even teleoperated in public paid rides. 0. So they are far behind. But Elon Musk, of course, claims victory. And in the meantime, he has had a lot of blowback from his politics. People don't like him. A lot of people won't even ride in a Tesla Robotaxi, I think, for that reason, the politics alone, especially in Europe, if it ever gets to Europe, because they have 0 rides on the road so far. But speaking of politics, if you don't know about the Politics channel yet, go and check it out. The latest video over there is this. It is about that we need to talk about fighting American fascism. It's at that point, even if you voted for Trump, this has some interview snippets with leading experts on authoritarianism to say that this is what's happening in the US. So do go and check that out. I'll put the link in the pinned comment and in the description as well if you want to check that out. As I said, even if you don't think this is happening, there's some good arguments there for how it is, why it is, and what is going on. So go and check that out. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a video there, related video. Do go and see that now if you want to. And a subscribe link on screen. Do subscribe if you want to on this channel if you're not already. And thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.